We begin with breaking developments this morning in the state's case against two former Minneapolis police officers charged in connection to the murder of George Floyd. Good morning and thanks for joining us here on this Monday for Fox 9 News at 11. I'm Tom Butler. Jury selection was slated to begin this morning for Tou Thao and J. Alexander King, but now that won't be happening. New in the last 2 hours, J. Alexander King entering a guilty plea in this case, and Tou Thao won't be facing a jury. Our Rob Wilson was in the courtroom this morning. He joins us now live from the Minneapolis area to break down all of what happened, and there was a lot that happened. Rob, good morning.
Yeah, and a surprise this morning, too. There was a jury pool all ready to go to begin this jury selection for the trials of both J. Alexander King and Tou Thao, but they were not needed. As you mentioned, an agreement for J. Alexander King agreeing to plead guilty, and Tou Thao, well, he will let the judge decide his guilt or innocence. Now, we start with J. Alexander King. He is already serving a 3-year sentence in federal prison for his conviction related to violating George Floyd's civil rights. Appearing in person in court today at 9 a.m., his attorney said they'd had multiple meetings over the weekend to pull this plea deal together. And here's what it is. King pled guilty to count 2, which is aiding and abetting manslaughter. In exchange, count 1, which is aiding and abetting murder, was dropped. The agreement calling for 42 months in prison to be served concurrently with what he's doing now in federal prison and credit for time served. The judge, though, still has to decide on that sentence and will have a formal sentencing, a date not yet set, but King will not return to court, saying he prefers to appear virtually from prison when that sentencing does happen. Then Tou Thao came in about half hour, 45 minutes later or so. Appearing next, he is currently serving 3.5 years for his federal conviction for violating George Floyd's civil rights. His agreement is similar in some ways in that it drops count 1 and keeps count 2, but it's notably different in that he did not agree to plead guilty. The agreement is for a stipulated trial on count 2 only, the aiding and abetting manslaughter. If he's found guilty, then count 1 is also dropped. This is a trial essentially by the judge. There's no jury and there's nothing in court. It uses evidence and transcripts from witness testimony from previous trials. The attorneys for Thao and the state will have until November 17th to submit that case, plus written closing arguments. The judge says then he will take up to 90 days to go through all that evidence and the witness transcripts and the closing arguments to make his decision on count 2. Thao is meantime being held at Hennepin County and is asked to remain there until the judge concludes his decision in that. So again, a plea deal for J. Alexander King and what's called a stipulated evidence trial for Tou Thao. No trials here. The jury was not needed. Tom, back to you.